How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today I bring you a crazy story out of Long Beach, California, which, by the way, in this particular area I'm talking about, this is Maxine Waters District. We'll get to that in a little bit, but this story is crazy. I know you've seen the thumbnail. I know you've seen the title of this video, so I'm going to jump straight into it. Now, what they had was something called the Drag Queen Story Hour at the Michelle Obama Public Library. That's the name of it. It's in Long Beach, California. It's part of the Long Beach library system over there. And you had this drag queen by the name of Zochi Mochi. Now, I'll place a picture of, what's the correct gender? Matter of fact, I'll place a picture of him on the screen before you, and you can see what is going on here. You have his crazy pale skin makeup. I'm not sure if this person is white. I think they're probably black. I don't know what's going on with their actual race or gender or whatever. I'm just totally confused. But you see the person's makeup and you see the multiple horns. Now, this person is reading a children's book in front of very small children. These kids appear to be like pre-K age. These are like little kids, barely above toddler, if not in toddler age. Little kids, okay? And you have this drag queen demon reading to the kids. And this is part of a whole big event at the Michelle Obama Public Library. It's like a few things that are LGBT friendly. Now, my question is this. Why do little kids barely above toddler age or in toddler age, why do they need to be exposed to anything that deals with transgenderism, sexuality, or any of these weird gender bending things that this person Zochi Mochi brings to the table? Why did they have to be introduced to that at a very young age? When I was a little boy, I was not worried about sexuality or gender or stuff like that. I was worried about playing my video games and playing on my toys and, playing outside, just rolling around in the dirt like a little boy does. I was not worried about gender identity. I was not worried about being inclusive, quote unquote inclusive, air quotes inclusive. I was not worried about that. I was just worried about being a kid. And I think that these kids should be allowed to be kids. Now, I don't know where their parents are. Okay. What parent is going to bring their child to this event? Because I presume this is not like part of a school thing where they have to go. Because like I said, these kids look like they are pre-K. So they're probably not even in school yet. This is a voluntary thing. They had a list of events. Now I'm going to place the list of events on the screen before you, and I'm going to read through it with you. Now let's look. And by the way, before we get into the actual events, let's look at the headline here. LGBT History Month at Michelle Obama Neighborhood Library, Saturday, October 14th, 2017. The first event, like I said, Drag Queen Story Hour. Okay. And you see the person with the inset picture. That's the dude right there. But that is not how they looked, obviously, when they came to the actual place. And then after that, you have art, space, and resource sharing. What does that got to do with LGBT? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Or are there space and art books related to LGBT that they're going to read there? I don't understand. And then the next thing is you have the LGBTQ history timeline workshop. So this looks like the whole feminist movement. So they're going to bring it back to 1960s and they're going to try to tie it into civil rights. That's what's going on with that. I could tell by the photo right there on the screen. And that's really irresponsible, in my humble opinion, to be trying to drag, the civil rights movement into it, because these things are not really related. But that's what's going on nowadays, because, it's crazy to see some people just don't understand what's going on here. They want to be all for social justice and all that kind of stuff with the Colin Kaepernick, the hands up, don't shoot. They want to be down for that. But then they don't understand how that same thing that they're fighting for is going to be used to fuel the whole LGBT movement. I remember I said this months ago, maybe years ago, about how when you introduce LGBT stuff into high school, it's going to trickle its way down to very small children, pre-K, kindergarten. I said that. People were like, oh, no, it's not going to happen. Well, here we are. I said that recently, and we're already here. This is going on more and more. I did a story about this before where you had another drag queen who came and read in front of the kids.
Little Miss Hot Mess.
Who is ready for a story?
Is the host of Drag Queen Story Hour.
This one is called Worm Loves Worm.
Talking, singing, and reading.
We can both be grooms. We can both be grooms. We can both be grooms.
To an audience of preschoolers, toddlers, and their caregivers.
Now you have a trend that's happening. A precedent has been set. The first person was able to do it, and the parents are bringing their kids to it. I think this happened in Brooklyn. The previous incident I did a video about happened in Brooklyn, and now it's in California. How surprised are you? And this is in Long Beach. This is in Los Angeles. That's not even really as bad of an area as San Francisco Bay Area. You know, imagine what's going to go on there. You're going to have drag queens reading in front of children. Like, what's next? Are you going to have pedophiles reading in front of children? Now, some would say that it's far-fetched, but people also said it was far-fetched for drag queens to be reading in front of very small children. Oh no, Anthony, you just being a bigot. That's not going to happen. Well, here we are. The next step is to have pedophiles. They're going to say, oh, you know, like I've seen the articles from some of these websites. I think it was on Salon, the very famous one, where they gave a platform to a pedophile where they were like, I'm a pedophile, but I'm not a monster. Right? That's what they said. And that's the kind of ideology that you're going to get from these kind of people when you allow this thing to persist, when you allow the Xochi Mochis of the world to come with multiple horns on their face, looking like a straight devil, a transgender, gender bender, non-gender having entity of a thing. When you allow that to be in front of very small children, you're going to get the result of having that precedent be set, and there's going to be more things that happen. I talk about that with everything else. And it all started with gay rights, with the whole gay marriage thing. Once being gay and being married and having kids while you are gay, which is difficult for me to understand how that happens, but I digress. Once that became normalized, as Yuri Bezmenov would say, now it's on to the next thing. It's on to the transgender situation. Now you have TV shows, Orange is the New Black. You have other stuff going on. You got cartoons coming out with transgender characters. You got movies coming out with transgender characters. Then you put it into high school. Then you put it into middle school. Then you put it into kindergarten. That's how it goes. And it's happening so fast now with a social media generation. Things just are moving at an accelerated pace. In years prior, it may have taken some time for the whole thing to matriculate, but now things happen in a matter of months. What's next is never going to be an end. That's why liberals like to call themselves progressive, because they're always going to progress the next agenda that they want to get through. And it's never going to be into it. You're going to be constantly shocked and just taken aback by what they do. But the only way you're going to be able to stop it is if a stand is taken right now. Parents, do not send your kids to LGBT reading day at a library. The parents are the reason why these things are continuing to persist, because if the parents were not for it, then they would not be able to go forward with what they want to do with the whole gay agenda, transgender agenda, whatever they want to do, the sexualization of children. That would not be able to persist if it was not for the complicit nature of these misguided parents. So what do you think? Do you think that Drag Queen Story Hour is a good thing to have at a public library for very small children? Like I said, these kids look like they are pre-K. Maybe they're right around kindergarten, first grade at the oldest. You're talking about kids that are between 2 and 5 years old. Is that appropriate for them to be exposed to? What about you when you were a child? Was this up your alley? Was this in your reading repertoire? Transgender stuff? Did you get read a book by a big, looking like they played basketball, 6'8", transgender person with white face makeup on and multiple horns on their forehead? Is that what you got exposed to when you were a child? I didn't. I never seen anything like that until I became an adult. I can't really imagine what I would go through as a child seeing something like that. The trauma I would experience, the confusion I would experience. I mean, when I was a kid, I had so many questions about the world, because you are just, starting to develop as a child. Your brain is just starting to develop. You got all kinds of questions. When I came home from that, I'm like, mommy, what's going on with the man wearing the dress? Why does he have makeup on? Why does he have horns? Is he the devil? Is he Satan? I knew about church and stuff like that when I was a child, so I knew what the devil was. Now, I would be very confused if I saw that. I think it's not right to confuse children like that, especially when we're talking about things of a sexual nature. That's way too early to expose them to that. But do you think I'm being a bigot here? Am I being a bigot? Am I being, non-tolerant? Should I be more tolerant? Should I be able to understand that the LGBT communities have had a hard time in life and they want to be able to educate people, even if they are not even old enough to tie their own shoes or write their own name? Am I being a bigot for that? I mean, you tell me in the comments below and tell me what should be done about situations like this. Shout out to Omar Navarro. He's trying to run against Maxine Waters because this whole situation happened in Long Beach, which is Maxine Waters' district. Hopefully he'll be able to take her House seat and do something about this, because it's got to be a cooperative effort. Hopefully there's some laws passed that will prevent children from being exposed to sexually explicit material like this drag queen in front of them reading a book. And also, like I said, the parents got to be in on it as well. Do not take your children to something like this, because it's just not right for your kids. But whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.